What's up, y'all? This your boy CJ with Hard Money Hustle. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Hey, man, if you haven't done it already, check out the previous videos. I haven't been doing nothing but giving you guys nothing but value on top of value on top of value. Basically, how to get in the right mindset, basically, how to make money in real estate investing, basically, how to make generational wealth through real estate, and basically the step-by-step guide on what you need to get started. Because at the end of the day, everything, all your goals, all your dreams, everything like that, all is just from one thing: getting started. You know what I mean? A lot of people really don't understand the importance of actually taking that first step. So just give you a little background on my story, right? Grew up rougher, let's just say we're gonna call them the apartments, right? So grew up in an apartment complex, St. John's Apartments, rougher area. It is what it is, right? 3 kids, 1 room, you know what I mean? A bunk bed, a baby carriage, all in 1 room, living on top of each other, right? Never had money in my pocket growing up, you know what I mean? Never at all. Parents would never give me money. Even if I asked for $1, it was a no. So I had to be very creative throughout my whole existence from 0 to 18, right? So basically, apartments, move out of the apartments, move into another apartment complex, a little bit nicer, but it's still an apartment complex. You know what I mean? Then we get out of that apartment complex and we move into a little house, gated community. Move into a nicer house. Recession hit. I'm still young. We go back to the hood. It's a little house, spiders about this big walking through the house. We had a lizard that was like black, blue, and red. That was the nastiest looking, biggest lizard I've ever seen, living underneath our kitchen cabinet. And it would only poke its head out to eat something and run back in. So we never caught it, but we knew it. We knew it was living with us. Let's put it like that. So it was a rough. And the floors is concrete. You know what I mean? Literally no rug on the floor. Literally, if you fell off your bed, you fell on concrete. It was no rug, it was no tile, it was just pure concrete. It was literally the foundation. You know what I mean? So, and I had my cousin next door, and I lived in the neighborhood. I lived in the hood, whatever the case is, and we just would walk around and smoke weed and do all of that, right? Played football, became talented enough to get interest from a college, made it to college. That's when my life changed, right? Learned a couple things, met some people, you know what I mean? Had to break out of my own way in order to even graduate college, because I was several times at the school that I was at. It was a private school, and it was very proper, and I wasn't that, you know what I mean? I was a kid from the hood, cussed a lot, yelled a lot, wasn't afraid to fight nobody, got into a couple fights. It is what it is. They almost kicked me out several times, had to change my whole behavior, because people was telling me that you ain't gonna make it to graduation if you keep acting like this. And a lot of people was like, man, if I had to bet, dude told me straight up, he said, if I had to bet, I don't think you would graduate here, CJ. Like, straight up, just told me straight up. And because he said that, I was like, I'm gonna graduate in spite of this dude. Never spoke to that dude ever again for my whole thing, but he did motivate me to graduate. Now, going into graduation, right? I graduate, I needed a job. Now, let me remind you, whole time growing up, never, ever, ever had a job ever in my life. You know what I mean? Didn't even know what it even consists of. In college, I did some student work stuff, but it wasn't no real job, right? So I go to this job fair. I run across a guy talking about entrepreneur, how you can be your own boss, right? And as soon as I heard that, something popped up in my head. I said, man, I need to work for this dude. I ain't even have enough details, right? He's like, you gonna be your own boss. I didn't even know what we was selling. I ain't know what we was doing. I ain't know nothing. You feel me? So as soon as he say that, I jump into, I go to him. I had a little resume prepared. I had some people help me put together a resume. I don't even know how I had a resume because I ain't have nothing on it. You know what I mean? So I let them prepare it for me. Gave him my resume, and I said, whatever y'all talking about, I'm willing to do. He said, all right, we're going to reach back out to you. We're going to set this up, and we're going to go from there. So fast forward, they invite me to like a little office. And they said, okay, so we're going to teach y'all how to be entrepreneurs. We're going to teach y'all how to hire people. We're going to teach y'all how to do payroll. We're going to teach y'all how to make money. We're going to teach you all of that. But the first thing we're going to teach you guys is marketing and sales, right? So that's the first thing they taught us. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Marketing and sales. Sound nice, right? What are we gonna be marketing and selling? Come to find out, we painting houses. That's what the dude tell us. Y'all gonna be painting houses. So I look to my left, I look at my right, I look at him. Painting houses, bruh. I ain't never painted a house a day in my life. I don't even know where to begin. They say, hey, CJ, slow down, relax. We gonna teach you all that. But right now, you need to learn marketing and sales. So the first thing they tell me to do is you're gonna receive a box at your house. You're gonna have a whole bunch of flyers. You're gonna have door hangers, you're gonna have everything. Your job is to get this box and hand out a whole bunch of flyers, put a whole bunch of stakes in the ground, and knock on a whole bunch of doors and sell these paint jobs. I'm still looking confused. How am I gonna sell something I never painted a house? CJ, we're gonna teach you that. Right now, you need to learn how to do sales and marketing. So we do some little courses or whatever. They teach you what to say to the people, how to knock on the doors, flyers, all that stuff like that. I go back home. A few days later, they mail me a box. Big old box. Matter of fact, it was like 2 or 3 boxes. Big old boxes. Whole bunch of stuff in it. They had the stick-in flyers that you make. They had everything. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting down. I get a call. The guy tell me, tell me, did you get the box? Did you get the boxes? I said, yeah, I got the boxes. He said, you ready to hit the ground and start making some sales? I said, yeah, man, but I'm nervous, man. I don't know what's going on. He said, well, I will tell you this. The boxes that we sent you, that's $10,000 worth of, marketing supplies. That $10,000 you owe us. So if you don't start moving and shaking, well, you gonna have to pay us 10 grand. I said, what? He said, yeah, because that box we gave you, that's $10,000 worth of merchandise. You're responsible for that. So you got to get that. You got to get all of that marketing material out there, or you're going to owe us 10 grand. So I lost my mind. You feel me? I'm broke. I ain't got $1 to my name. I got nobody to lean on. If this don't work out, I ain't going back home. I ain't got nothing. You feel me? In my mind, I'm like, man, if I don't make this work, I'm done. So, and I'm young, and $10,000 to me, being where I'm from, sounded like $100 million. So I'm hearing that number, and I'm like, I'm never going to get myself out of this hole. So I freak out. You know what I mean? I start hanging flyers. I start knocking on doors. I start putting the flyers on the doors. I mean, everything that I possibly could. They teaching me. I say, bro, how you do the quotes and stuff like that? Like, I know y'all went over it, but they say, all right, watch this video. We're going to teach you how to quote out the job. So I'm knocking on doors. No, we ain't looking to get our house painted. No, we ain't looking to get our house painted. No, we ain't looking to get our house painted. And then I'm like, okay, how do I switch this up? Hey, man, you looking to get a quote just to see what it would cost to get your house painted. We ain't looking to get it painted, but I'll let you do the quote, right? So now I'm trying to switch stuff up. Like, man, I need to get this money. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to quote the house for you. I'm going to tell you. You know what I mean? I'm quoting the house, and they say, oh, thank you for the quote. We're not interested. Thank you for the quote. We're not interested. Thank you for the quote. And I'm knocking on thousands of doors. This is Minnesota, so I'm freezing. My hand don't even work no more. There was one day I'm knocking on doors. I couldn't even feel my hand. But I'm young, and I'm like, if it fall off, it fall off. I'm knocking on 500 more doors. And I'm just trying to pick up on patterns like, okay, I'm dead broke. Nobody's saying yes. I'm calling my guy. None of these people saying yes. He's like, just keep going at it. Somebody gonna say yes, right? So I'm going crazy. So I'm like, you know what, man? I need to change up something with my pitch, right? So I was like, okay, so I'm getting them to get the quote for me. But I can't close the deal. So then I started knocking on doors. Same thing. Nah, thank you for the quote. Thank you for the quote. Then one dude sat down. He looked at the quote. He looked at me. He said, thank you for knocking on my door today. He said, let me ask you this. He said, if you could do this, he said, if you can take 10% off of this quote that you gave me, I'll do the deal right now. If not, I'm still going to have to wait on it and think about it. I'm dead broke. I ain't got no money to my name. I say, all you want me to do is take out 10% and we get this done. He said, if you can take out 10% off of that quote, I'll get the thing done. I was looking for painting. Some other people quoted me high. You on the lower end, but if you can get it down 10%, I'll do it. I said, bet. 10%, got the deal done, took the 10% off, and that was my first deal. Trust me, that was my first deal. So then I started realizing, I'm like, If he got closed that way and all he wanted was a 10% discount, I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket, right? So I started quoting more deals, quoting more deals, quoting more deals. So then, me knowing that I could the last thing I would say to somebody is I'll take off 10%. I would just start trying to close the deal as hard as I can. Be like, hey man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna scrape it down. Like the stuff they taught us, we're gonna scrape the paint. I ain't never painted the house, but this is what they teaching us. We're gonna scrape it down. We're gonna do hand. We ain't gonna do no spray. I'm just remembering everything this dude told me to say. And they say, man, that sounds great, man. You gonna do hand paint? I said, yeah, we hand paint. We roll and brush. We scrape it down. We take off all the old paint. We make it look brand new. These are some of the pictures. They gave us a book with some pictures in it. These are some of the pictures of the houses that we have done. We make your house look like this. I'm going crazy, right? And at the end of the day, when they say, well, thank you for the quote, thank you for the presentation, I think we're going to hold off. I say, how about this? If you close right now, and this is crazy, I don't know why I'm doing this, but if you close today, I'll take off 10%. But if you don't close right now and you don't do this right now, I'm not taking off 10%. And if you call me back, we're going back to our normal price. And before I know it, everybody just, all right, let's do it. Boom. All right, let's do it. Boom. All right, let's do it. Boom. All right, let's do it. Now, before I got to that stage, I was knocking on thousands of doors and I was getting a whole bunch of no's, right? But eventually, when I started getting yeses, I just started repeating the same thing, getting a whole bunch of yeses. And every time a deal closed, they gave me 10% up front. So whatever the job was, if it was a $13,000 job, they'll give me $1,300, right? If it was $13,000 job, they give me $1,300. If it was a $6,000 job, they give me. So I just kept collecting all these 10% checks. So then I collected so much money where I had enough to pay the $10,000 back. So I'm sitting pretty. So I got a bank account full of all of these deposits, and now I'm sitting around like, okay, boom, I done sold all these paint jobs. How do I paint the house? You feel me? Still didn't know how to paint the house. They say, see, you don't worry about that. But they said, before you get to paint the house, you need to hire a team. I said, how am I hire some people when I don't even know how to paint? They say, hire a team. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dang, how am I hire a team? So I made some flyers, right? Went to the high schools. Went to the office lady. I said, hey, I know summer coming up. I have a summer job opportunity. I know these kids need something to do in summer. Here, please hand these flyers out, and they can work for my company. I went to school after school after school after school. Before I knew it, I started getting a whole bunch of phone calls from people. It's like, yeah, my school said something about you doing a summer job. I wanted a summer job, da-da-da. So everybody, and I just did what I had to do. Everybody that sat down with me, I met them at a Caribou Coffee because that's what we had in town. Everybody that sat down with me, I basically hired them on the spot because I just needed as many bodies as possible. Some of them didn't make it. Some of them was trash. It is what it is. But everybody that gave me the time to sit down, which was about like 6 or 7 people, and I needed the 2 crews because I done booked so much work, I just said, yep, you hired. Like, I listened to them. I asked them questions. You hired. Yep, you hired. Yep, you hired. Yep, you hired. Oh, my friend needed a job too. He hired too. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way we was rocking. Fast forward, I'm like, bro, I got a team. I got the jobs booked. I got a whole bunch of 10% checks from all these people that's sitting in my bank account. How do I paint these houses? They say, hey, we got a scheduled event. You meet us at this event. We're going to teach you how to paint houses. Make sure you buy some steel toe boots, and then we're going to give you, and make sure you bang on some painting pants or whatever. They give you like a paint outfit. So get there. They throw us these shirts with the logos and stuff on it, and it was the biggest, most raggediest, horrible house I've ever seen, right? And they say, you see this project? We gonna paint this whole entire project. And it was like 3 other people who had different, because we had like sections, like we had regions that we kind of held down. So it's 3 other people who had different regions. So basically they said, y'all gonna paint this house and this gonna be y'all training. So the first question they asked was, who here is afraid of heights? Me, I'm afraid of heights. I split my eye. I fell off a stadium when I was young. You know what I mean? Split my eye, blacked out, 2 layers of stitches. Crazy, right? So I'm afraid of heights. So I raised my hand. Hey, man, I'm afraid of heights. They said, perfect. CJ, you start at the top of the house. I'm like, what? So I'm like, what? I said, I'm afraid of heights. Like, I'm being for real. They're like, I know. You start at the top of the house. So they gave me the biggest ladder. I didn't even know how to use a ladder. You know, I'm black from the hood. I don't even know what a ladder is. So they give me the biggest ladder, and it's heavy, and it wobble, and they say, okay, this is how you hold it. You get underneath it, all this stuff like that. It's just crazy, right? And they say you got to pull it up. You pull the string, and the ladder just keep clicking higher and higher and higher. So it's like a 3-story house, like crazy, you feel me? So they say before you even do that though, you got to put a harness in. So they say you got to get on the top of the roof and you got to put some nails in the roof in a harness. So just in case you fall off this ladder, you're going to have something to hold you so you don't hit the ground. So I say, well, what if I fall off the roof? They say, well, I guess you'll be dead. So don't fall off the roof. So I'm terrified of heights, and the first thing I got to do is get on the roof. So I don't even know how to use a ladder. Every step just don't feel sturdy. I mean, they had, like, the house was off of a hill, so the ladder wasn't even on real sturdy ground. And the dude that put the ladder in the ground, he said, it's sturdy enough. And I'm like, that ain't sturdy enough. So it wasn't even really like, both of the legs wasn't even really like locked into the ground yet. And it moved a little bit as you walked up it. So the whole time I'm walking up this ladder, I was like, I'm finna die. I'm finna die. I know I'm finna die. And any gust of wind and it shook a little bit. I said, oh, I'm finna die. They say, CJ, just get up the ladder. I'm stuck there. I won't move. I'm paralyzed. I say, hold up, man. It's moving. They said, it's going to move a little bit, man. It's a ladder. Get up there. So I get up to the roof, put the thing in, put the little harness in. I said, I'm scared. How I put the harness in the roof? You just you get the nails, you do this. You need to put it on quick so you can latch it onto you so you don't fall off. Okay, make sure the nail's sturdy. So I did the thing, put the thing on. And they say, okay, now come back down. Came all the way back down. They say, okay, you got the harness up there. That's good. They say, now since you're afraid of heights, you're going to start at the top. That's the way we paint these houses. We start from the top, we start from the bottom. You first go up, you scrape. You scrape everything off that's dead paint. This the tool you use. This how you use it. They did it on the small side. Now you're going to do that up there. And I just came from up there, and I said, I don't want to go back up there. And I'm trying to play with the ladder. I'm trying to make sure it's more sturdy. Say, the ladder's sturdy. Don't worry about it. You do this, you do this, you do this. Get back up on the ladder. Start scraping. Start scraping. Scared, trembling. I like every time the wind blow, I'm scared. They say, okay, now you just scraped up a section. Okay, you see this paint? This how you open it. Bam. Pour all this paint in there. Pour the paint in the bucket. They say, now walk up with this paint. It's gonna latch on to the ladder. Now you gotta, so now I'm like, dang, this paint kind of heavy. Yeah, it's paint, it's gonna be heavy. I said, I was barely shaking on the ladder. Now I gotta bring something with me? Yep. And you click it on to the middle of the ladder and you dip your brush in it. Well, first you dip your roller. You have a roller and you have a brush. You dip your roller on this side, you dip your brush on this side, and you roll across and you come back and you brush this way. Like, I think you kept the brush in your pants. Whatever, the paint was everywhere. Let's put it like that. So I'm up there. I'm terrified out of my mind. I don't know how I made it through. I'm not crying, because I never cry, but I'm terrified on the inside, but I'm saying nothing on the outside. Like, you know what I mean? My mind is going a million miles per hour. I could have swore that day I was finna die. The ladder wasn't good. Everything wasn't good. The paint swinging. I'm trying to catch this. I'm like, I'm finna die today. This is gonna be the day. I'm gonna die with these white folks trying to teach me how to paint a 3-story house in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota. You know what I mean? But we ended up getting the job done, and I learned a lot from that job. And I was just like, so that's how you paint a house. They're like, yeah, but I mean, before we had the pressure wash, they taught us all that stuff. They said, so it took us a week to do that job. They said, you know everything that you need to do on how to paint a house. Now start painting those houses on all that stuff you booked. And we started painting them houses. My team started painting the houses. We made a whole bunch of money that summer. I was able to walk away from that summer with a lot of money saved up, just because of all the business that I did. I actually booked so much business, and my team had to go back to school, that the last few jobs, I had to give them their 10% back and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry, we ain't going to be able to make it this summer. You know what I mean? Because we just got overwhelmed, we got backed up, stuff like that. So I say that to say this. I know that was a long story, but I say that to say this. Sometimes a lot of you guys think that you need knowledge, or you need, more books, or you need this, or you need that, or you need, you know what I mean? And yeah, some of that, or you need more skill. And some of that stuff is true. It really is. But at the end of the day, the thing that most of you guys is really missing is just courage. That's it. Taking that first step. You know what I mean? If you can learn how to take that first step towards something, right? Towards something that you know is lucrative. Like, for example, real estate investing. It's a very lucrative business. I do deals with people every single day, and I see how much money they make, and I see the ARVs, and I see what they sell the houses for. I see this stuff every day. And it's a lot of people that really aren't that smart. And you look in their bank account, and they got about $500,000-$600,000 in their bank account just from real estate investing, nothing else. You know what I mean? They full-time real estate investors. And real estate investing is not as hard as people may think it is, right? But it does take courage. You know what I mean? Real estate investing isn't as hard as trying to learn how to paint a house, and you never painted a house, and you a kid from the hood, and you got to learn how to use a ladder and paint. And the cool thing about real estate investing is it's investing. So it's money, right? You pay people to do that stuff. You pay contractors. You pay painters. You just watch them do a good job. You get what I'm trying to say? So I say all of that stuff to just say, man, sometimes it really just takes courage. Sometimes it really just takes you stepping outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes it just takes you having belief in yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just takes stuff like that in order to take yourself to the next level and take that step in the right direction. Now, when I tell you guys that story, all of that stuff didn't happen in one night. That was months and months and months of time, and it happened over the course of 1 year. But that was a lot of months of preparation and guidance and mentorship and failing and not getting answers and getting no's and getting doors slammed in your face. It was all of that stuff, right? And the average person would have quit. An average person would have said, I'm not doing this. And a lot of people that came up in the same course that I came up in did quit. They said, I ain't doing this. I'm not finna market. I'm not finna try to paint no house. I'm not finna hire nobody. I'm not finna do this. I'm not finna do this. A lot of people that came up in my same class did quit before they even could make it to the actual painting the house and actually learning and actually being able to benefit from all that money that came in from simply painting people's houses. So at the end of the day, man, follow this channel. My job is to give you as much value as possible so that you too can take the first step when it comes to real estate investing. Partner with a company like my company who does this every single day with other real estate investors just like yourself. Partner with Grandiose Capital. We got access to money, billions of dollars. Like I said, we can do gap funding. If you need down payment money, we can do that, right? If you need, a bridge loan, we can do bridge loans. We can do fix and flip loans. We can do 40-year mortgages. We got rates as low as 4% for gap funding. We got rates as low as 5 point. You know what I mean? I hate getting into rates because obviously the year is 2023, June 27th. So obviously rates are extremely high. So I hate getting into rates on these videos because I know these videos last for a very long time, right? So I'm not going to get into rates, but let's just put it like this. We're extremely competitive. We're extremely competitive. We have access to private money. So we have access to funds. We have access to funds that are raised by everyday people. You know what I mean? I have access to a fund right now that is $500 million that's raised by everyday people. They just put their money into the fund and they get their returns. You know what I mean? And the fund manager, me and him, that's like my right hand man. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, it don't take much but courage to get started. And if this is something that you want to get started with, reach out to me, DM me, message me, follow me on Instagram, whatever the case is, and I can give you an easy step-by-step guide on exactly how to get started and start making millions, because that's where all the wealth is at. Because real estate is one of the only investments that you can force appreciation. It's not like the stock market where you got to wait for it to go down and try to buy it when it's low, and if it don't go down and you don't catch it at the right time, you ain't gonna make no money, right? This is something where you can force appreciation. You can negotiate a deal with the seller. You can make them sell it for lower than what it's actually worth, and then you can take advantage of all that appreciation that you just stumbled upon because this person needed to get out of the house quickly, or they were distressed, or something was going on in that person's life. And contrary to what you believe, there's stuff going on in people's life every single day. You know what I mean? Things pop up, medical bills pop up, people don't want houses no more. All kinds of stuff happen. People got to move quickly in a short period of time. All kinds of stuff can happen where people need to get out of their situation, and they need somebody like you who's an investor that can help solve their problem, and you can make a whole lot of money on the back end of that. So I tell you guys this stuff to tell you it ain't hard, but it do take courage. You know what I mean? It ain't hard, but it do take courage. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Peace.